Are you drafting your agreements using AI? I'm sure you are. I use it too. Look, let's be real. This is the modern world. But I do want to point out something. You need to be aware that AI is a people pleaser. It was designed to give you the answers that you want to hear. So I'm going to give an example of how this applies in the legal world. So I get this client. He reaches out and he's trying to do the deal himself. And he's selling his business. The buyer has an attorney, and the buyer's attorney is just running circles around this seller. So the seller reaches out to me because he realized he's outmatched, outgunned, and these documents are getting really complicated, right? It's pretty easy with a few prompts and a push of a button to make some really complicated things. And one of the really complicated things were the earnout provisions. The parties, including my client, prompted in how the earnout provisions would work, and there was this incredibly complex formula. So I'm tasked with reviewing the documents, everything, not just the earnout provisions. I go through, make changes, we send it back, and I point out a lot of things about the earnout provisions, which were already largely negotiated between the seller and the buyer. So the seller says to me, I just want to make sure I don't get screwed on the earnout. And I was like, all right, the best way to make sure you're not screwed on the earnout is to not have an earnout, which I would have told him from the very beginning. In fact, we're closing a deal this week or next week, and my client asked me, I coached her on what to negotiate when she was going to sell her business before she even got to the letter of intent phase. And one of the things we decided was we would not accept any kind of earnout. This other client, being advised by AI, didn't have the same conversation. So now we're 3/4 of the way through the deal, already had agreed on earnout provisions in principle, and now the seller's realizing, man, maybe I shouldn't have an earnout to begin with. Too late. At this point, unless you want to bust the deal, you pretty much already agreed in the LOI. You pretty much already agreed in drafts that have gone by. Now you get this attorney at the 11th hour saying you shouldn't have an earnout to begin with if you want to make sure you don't get screwed. And what did we do? We compromised. So we had some kind of watered down version of the earnout. I created some value. I got him a less onerous earnout, one with a little more certainty that he would actually get paid. And so what happens? So we spent a lot of time and money negotiating something that didn't need to be negotiated to begin with if he had used a lawyer in the beginning. But isn't that the point of AI? Is saving time and money. Well, in this case, the client didn't. And this is the misapplication of AI because the strategy is not understood from the beginning. A client's trying to DIY it. They think that AI is some magic tool that knows everything. But in reality, this tool gave him what he wanted. They wanted a complicated earnout provision, and the AI gave it to him. But it didn't see around the corner. The AI had not litigated earnout disputes like I have. The AI didn't have years of experience dealing with these nuanced issues and seeing around the corner. And so the client spent a lot, probably more than they would have if he had used an attorney to begin with, and got a worse result.